So I wanted to take you along today while I fix our ceiling fans. So they're I'm gonna look at them, they're just old. Old people lived here. They're white and gold with a gaudy design on them, and they're dirty, and I can't afford to buy new ones. So I've decided that I'm going to take them apart and paint them. So I wanted to take you along with me while I did that. Please like, comment, and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel so I know that you're watching. And I'm going to stop talking and just get right into it. First, I'm going to take what are they even called? The fan pillars? I don't know what they're called, but take the pieces off, unscrew them from the fixture itself, and then I'm also going to take the metal bar that's holding the blade, there we go, the fan blade, to the base of the fan. I'm going to unscrew that, take that off, that way that I can paint the fan blade and then also paint that metal piece two different colors. So originally I wanted to spray paint them gold just to keep the gold theme, but of course when I went to go get my gold spray paint, it was empty and I'm impatient. So I just did them black, and then I was also going to just paint the blades white, but I decided that our room has a lot of white in it, and so I wanted to throw a little bit of color, so I did it this like olive green color. So I used paint and spray paint that I already had, so I didn't have to go out and buy it. The paint is chalk paint that I bought at the restore. It's not shiny, so it's like kind of blah, but I mean, if you wanted it to be shiny, you could just spray paint it with a polyurethane or whatever. I do have polyurethane, but it's a matte one, so it wouldn't really make a difference. So I decided to do it the green instead. So I started by doing a base coat just to cover up all the gold design on there so it wouldn't show through. Not sure if it would because the green was really dark, but I didn't want to take the chance and create more work for myself. I also only painted one side because you can't see the top side once it's all put back together because it's up on the ceiling. So I did the one coat of that on the top and on the side pieces for all 8, and then I let that dry. So this next part is for the base of the fan. Originally I was going to leave it white, but when I put some of the blades back on, I didn't really like the way it looked. It was too choppy, it didn't look uniform. So I took it off and decided I was going to paint it. But first I had to clean it because I'm sure no one ever took this thing apart since the day it was put in to be cleaned. So it was pretty dirty and it had a lot of dead bugs on it. So I cleaned the inside and the outside just to make sure that it was clean and didn't have any particles on it because I was going to be spray painting it. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't know if there's specific paint or anything that I should be using, but like I said, I'm just trying to save money and use what I have. So I just went with some black spray paint and I sprayed the whole thing outside, and then I let it dry overnight just so it wasn't like sticky or anything like that. I just wanted to be safe. So now I wanted to paint that base that's white and gold. So I used this Rust-Oleum high gloss black paint, and this stuff was a pain in the butt. It was so sticky and so thick, and it was going on a surface that was like really high sheen. I wasn't able to buff it or anything, so I had to kind of move quickly and just kind of glop it on there. And this stuff needs a really long time to dry. I learned that the hard way. Luckily I had 2 fans to paint, so I was able to do the other one a little bit better. So I let this dry for probably an hour,
And then I went back just to see if anything else needed to be touched up. But luckily, because I made the paint so thick to begin with, I didn't. But definitely let it dry, or else it will be very, very sticky. I learned the hard way when I was putting the lamp back on over the light bulb. It is covered in black because I did not let it dry long enough. And also, there are a lot of fingerprints because I didn't let it dry. So definitely give it time to dry before you even touch it. Also, I decided I was going to paint this because I really didn't like the way the fan looked when I had put it back together before I painted it. It just didn't look uniform. So I decided to paint all of it black. It's a new day now because I ran out of natural light and my ceiling fans are the light in the room, so I can't use those. So now that the base coat is dry, I am adding the green paint that I told you about. And I was trying to put it on as smoothly as possible without any streaks. It was kind of hard because I have to hold the end, so I can't do one long motion, but I made it work. I painted the whole flat surface and then the sides, and like I said, I didn't paint the bottom because I don't think it's necessary. So I did that for all 8 pieces, and I only did one coat. It's really all that it needed because I did that base coat. So I put it on nice and smooth, and I did that, like I said, to all 8 pieces, and then I'll let it dry. While the fan blades dried, I went ahead and put the covers over the bulbs so that the lights can be used again. And I let those other black pieces that I told you about dry overnight, so they should be good. So I put those back in, and it was super easy. They're literally just held up by some screws that rest right under the lip of the cover. So I put those back in and I tested the light, but I didn't like how yellow and dim the light was, so I took both of them back off and I switched the bulbs to newer bulbs that we had. Like I said, I don't know how long these fans have been here or when any maintenance was done to them, so I don't know how old those bulbs were. So I just put some new bulbs in just to try to make the room a little brighter because it's pretty dark in there with just those 2 lights on. The blades have dried, so now I am going to put them back together. So I have to screw all of the little bases that I spray painted black back onto the blades. So I did that for all 8 of them, and then I didn't record this, but I went ahead and I spray painted all of them again with a high gloss polyurethane spray, just because I wanted them to have a little bit of shine to them. I didn't want them to be so dull. I didn't like the way it looked when I had put one of the fans back together just to see how it looked. So I just sprayed all of those. I did mess up on one of them and I sprayed it too close, so it was dripping everywhere, so I had to wait till it fully dried. I had to sand it again, paint it again with the green, and then spray it again. It is finally time to put everything back together. Everything has fully dried, and even though it fully dried, I still had to be really careful because the spray paint chips so easily, and I had to go in there with a screw, so like little parts kept chipping. So it wasn't completely perfect, but luckily when you're just standing in the room or sitting down, you can't see it from that far away. So I just left it as it is. I didn't really care. So I had to screw each piece back in. Each blade had 2 screws, and it was kind of hard to put it in because my screwdriver was longer than the space that I had. So it was going in a little bit weird and it wasn't lining up perfectly, so it took some time. this is the final product. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think it adds a nice pop of color to the room, and it makes the room a little less matchy because I have mostly like orange tones and whites and browns in the room. So I really like the difference that this makes. The only thing that I probably would change is the glass around the bulb, just because it's really yellow, but I might just deal with it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it, and maybe you'll try it. If you do, please tag me in it.